All right, we're going to open the public hearing, July 22nd, 2023, case 2023C, July 26th, excuse me. Introduction of the planning board members. Madison Pixley, Chair, Jason Barroso, Heather Beatty, Christopher Moore, Pat Coyne, and Joanne Fior, planning coordinator. Just so everyone knows, this is being recorded. For a statement of authority, the planning board is established under Chapter 48 of the general laws of Massachusetts and acts in compliance with Chapter 48 under the zoning bylaws of the Town of Hampden, Chapter 41 governing the submission and approval of plots of proposed subdivisions, and the rules and regulations governing the subdivision of land in Hampden, Massachusetts. Our legal notice, the Hampden Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 26, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the Townhouse, 625 Main Street, Hampden, Mass. On the application of Raymond Casillas for a special permit under section 7.24 of the Hampden zoning bylaw for a substandard frontage lot on property owned by the applicant on Burley Road, parcel 28029000. Information related to this application is on file in the town clerk's office and is available for review by the public during normal business hours. For the board, Madison Pixley, Chair from the board. Chair of the Hampden Planning Board, published in the Wilbraham Hampden Times, July 6th and July 13th, 2023. So the reports we've received from other town departments and agencies, the town clerk reported there are no outstanding taxes to date. The building inspector stated a ridgeline hillside review would be required. He also has a concern regarding the stormwater drainage runoff. The fire chief, Ed Poulin, stated he needs more information about the driveway before approval from the fire department. The Board of Health reports no issues. The police chief, Scott B. Tremblay, reports he has no concerns. The Conservation Commission reported that this parcel contains NHESP mapped areas. The applicant will have to file with NHESP before developing the land. So, anybody that's planning to speak needs to identify yourself and your address. And do you guys have a presentation you want to make?
Sorry, I have a hard time hearing you.
Is there anything you want to present?
Well, you have my my plan there. I'm looking to make it official that this is a building lot. I think I've got the plan there in front of you to show that I meet all the requirements. Thanks to Joanne, she helped me out a lot, and that's what my petition is for.
So, last time you were here, you had an older plan, an older survey.
I had, well, what it was I had this survey, but I should have looked into my file even further, where what I did was I printed over the dimension, which I shouldn't have.
Right.
But I had one that I didn't print over, and I had it with me, but I didn't know I had it in my file.
Okay.
But since then, I've had a survey plan drawn up by Anderson, and I think you have it in front of you, and I think it meets all the requirements to for a building lot that is with less than what the amount of frontage that is necessary.
Yeah. So, a few things that I noticed. I thought that I'm a little confused about the boundary line agreement.
The boundary line?
Right. So this references area of land claimed by Raymond Casillas on a letter from T. House in 10/16/96, but then we have.
That was, I think that was put in there by my title attorney at the time when I purchased it.
Right, but then I thought that there's something from Land Court Department of a Trial Court from 2008.
Right, I have to go to land court to resolve my frontage. At that time, my frontage was deeded to another party, which was incorrect. and I had to have it settled in land court in Boston.
Okay.
And I have the documentation, if you'd like to see it.
So the names, I guess part of what I noticed is that the names don't match who it is. So it says WL Lemieux Construction Company, but then isn't that actually Vartanian's land?
No, that was, that's where it was deeded to by mistake.
So what, shouldn't this plan be updated?
I had to go to land court in Boston and get it settled. And it was settled in my favor.
And,
Yes.
I think what the chair is trying to say is that this map as presented today is not accurate
Is that,
because it has inaccurate information on it. Am I right? Patty, is that what you're saying? Okay, I'm just trying to make it clear. Because this name Lemieux shouldn't belong there. That's inaccurate information for a current map for this proceeding.
That's how I understand it. Yeah, but it says,
And this is
well, the Lemieux is that's not my property. That's the property that butts it. That's the Mr. Vartanian's property. It's right there.
which used to be owned by Lemieux?
Yes, was it, that was your property prior to, you owning it, right? Was Lemieux?
Lemieux owned it prior to me, he sold it.
Right,
so Vartanian owned, so it's Vartanian's property.
that's Vartanian's property.
Okay, so I would expect this to say Vartanian then, if there's,
Yeah, but this plan came, before, I bought this property before he bought his property.
okay, but if this is an updated survey plan, it should be updated with the correct names.
It's been surveyed 3 times.
What she's saying is this plan isn't accurate.
It's not accurate. What's not
It says
accurate
this
about
property is owned by Lemieux when it's owned by Vartanian. That's the first thing she's saying.
Oh, because but that's in Wilbraham.
It's still in a butter. So that's what the chair is trying to mention, is that this states the owner is Lemieux Construction, WL Lemieux Construction. So when you prepare a site plan and submit it, you know,
It
it
doesn't show,
doesn't show Vartanian anywhere on here, and the
Well,
document
if
that we
this
have
was-
states that Vartanian is the abutter.
well, would him being here tell you that it's accurate?
What does the document say in 30 years? That it's been used. I guess that's the issue that.
This will be the document that's filed.
This will be
the
filed
document.
this will be filed with the Registry of Deeds when you get it approved. And then Lemieux can come back and say, see, I own that property. And then Mr. Vartanian, because this was filed with the Registry of
No,
Deeds,
this
then
is-
there's another argument between Vartanian, well, theoretically.
This could raise issues that it's not correct.
And when somebody, if there goes to be a mortgage on it and they do the title search on it, it's probably gonna pop up
And sir, pulling out an old map is not gonna resolve these situations. Because the situation is,
You mean I gotta go out and get this resurveyed again
you've,
completely?
whatever it would take.
We're pointing out what issues there are with this current submittal. So once we get to the end of those issues, you'll have a list of issues that the town needs corrected, whether it's from the planning board or the
You know how
building
many times
inspector.
I've gone through this?
This is the cost of doing business and the cost of developing property. That's what has to be done. You
I
really-
did this before with the same planning board. I've been issued a building permit to build on that property.
Then why aren't you building under that building permit?
Because we ended up with a problem, somebody saying that you are on my property.
Okay,
And
so
that
that's-
So the
was,
building permit expires.
and I had to go to land court in Boston to get it resolved.
Right.
And it got resolved.
Right,
And I had to have it surveyed at that time for the land court.
and the building permit was issued within the last year or two,
No,
then it's not valid. The permits expire. They don't last forever. They
okay,
don't go with the land.
I understand that. I have to go and get I have to apply for a building permit.
You have to get,
But before I do that, I have to
you
get
have to get
approval
through
from this
this,
board.
correct.
And I thought I had all the documentation for this
And-
board.
Well, I'm
And
just-
that's what happens when you're developing a property. You submit something,
I'm
it
not
comes to
I'm
public.
just building a house on
That's
it.
developing a property. That's developing a property. You're clearing land, you're putting a
So
house
what's
up,
the-
that's real estate
So
development.
tell me, what problem do you foresee that could happen right now? If
If we kept this plan and approved it and you went on, this would get filed with the Registry of Deeds. And it says that Lemieux owns this piece of property when they don't. Mr. Vartanian owns this piece of property. So when this is filed with the Registry of Deeds, if Mr. Vartanian ever wanted to sell this property, it would come up on a title search and
And then he
most
would have to
likely
pay attorneys to
create a headache
file
for Mr. Vartanian.
revisions.
So the end point here, sir, is that this board, we're trying to be really, really patient, we're trying to be very accurate and within the law so that nothing goes wrong with this project, okay? And what, at the end of today, hopefully we'll be able to give you a list of things that you still need to do. And maybe we can write that list out very specifically, Joanne?
Yep.
Can we do that?
Do what?
List out
List out whatever else.
list
you
out the issues.
List out whatever his issues
that
are,
come
like this start, and issue number one is the accuracy of this site plan. Because it has used a very old site plan, made a copy, and then just been approved, or stamped, or whatever. And now it needs to be made accurate. We can't file something within the court system that is inaccurate. Because land is a very important thing for owners, as you know, right? So we have to do
Well,
it correctly.
Would
So we're
would the
gonna get to.
registry of deed have anything to,
No, this has nothing to do with.
they have
the-
nothing to do with the registry of deed? It
No,
has nothing to do with going to land court in Boston,
No.
saying that this is my property?
no, we know this is your property, but you now need another surveyor to do a new map.
They
That's what it
needed
looks
to
like.
update
This
this.
has to be
When,
updated.
when they put the stamp on it, they should have made sure that all of these abutters were,
It was correct
Correct.
information.
because they have an incorrect abutter.
So our hands are tied. We can't do what you're asking us to do, but we can make a list of the things that you still need to do, and then we'll have to bring you back to you.
And there are other comments
There are
from other
other things,
departments that will
yes.
require revision to this plan as well. It's not, getting a special permit isn't show up once and then you're granted a special permit. There's gonna be questions. It's a special permit. It's not normal course of business. If this were a normal building lot, you wouldn't need to go through this because it would be a normal building lot and the building inspector would say it complies and it doesn't need a special permit. Because this needs a special permit, you have to jump through these hoops to get a special permit. There's certain conditions that need to be met, most of which, a lot of which are already met with this plan, but there are some issues. It's not uncommon to have to submit more than once, you know what I mean? When it comes to public hearing, there could be other
Issues that come up.
issues that come up.
So we're gonna keep working with it, okay?
So
So that's,
that was your first.
is there anything else about the site
Been
plan?
doing this for almost 50 years now.
Is there
Been
anything,
before this board 3 times, twice. Just getting a little bit overwhelming.
that's understandable. So Maddie, is there anything else about the site plan that needs to go on this list?
There will be.
So the issue here is because it's Lemieux's name on that.
We only got to the first issue.
We've got more things to talk about.
Okay, let's go further on.
Can I just give a
Oh, I
question?
was just saying,
Can you state your name, please?
I'm in a butter and I have a plan of land from, August 2000, which shows you the property line, if you'd like to see that.
We've got legal
Oh, you've got that one?
proceedings following that
Okay.
after 2000. So I'm assuming, working under the assumption that these land court decisions were issued with those in consideration. Because we can't act on those. That would be something you bring to land court if you wanted to argue over
Oh,
property line. Yeah, since 2008.
Yeah, 2008 is the most recent time this all went
So, once you have your survey done, and it's clear on here who owns what, that is also the issue of the frontage.
Can we, I just want to use, once you have a revised site plan, not survey.
Excuse me, revised site plan put together by a surveyor,
Right.
licensed surveyor. We'll need to evaluate if the frontage is active.
I thought the survey plan here was done by a licensed
I
surveyor.
know, but there's obviously some discrepancies on it that makes me question it a little bit more. When was this done? Because last time you were here, we told you
Yeah,
that
last time I was here, I had
Anderson,
Anderson do it,
okay, well,
and I paid him,
concerned that he didn't,
and I brought it in to Joanne, and she says it doesn't show the road. You better go back and have it done.
right,
So I went back and he did it. And he put it in, and actually the original ones that he gave me were right here. And then I had to go back and do it all over again and get those done there. And he did that. And I had them printed, 9 copies, and brought them here to the meeting. Now, I mean, and he stamped them.
Right.
So
He stamped them with the wrong information on it. So he certified something that he put on here was true and it's not.
And that's
well,
probably
who's
because
questioning it?
we are.
Lemieux doesn't own the property.
and we're looking at this from certificate of title from the land court that shows Vartanian owns it. So that's why we have,
So there are still inaccuracies. So those inaccuracies need to be corrected, and the only way to get them corrected is to bring a new site plan done up after a new survey. Okay, but we're not finished, so don't get up.
Oh,
We're not finished. Remember, we said we sent it to other departments in the
Right.
town, and they have other things that are also going to be necessary.
so what are the other issues?
So you have to do a ridgeline hillside review through the building inspector.
I'm sorry.
That would be through us, but.
He doesn't understand what that is.
So this property is located above 600 feet and there are slopes over 15% on the property, which means it's subject to hillside ridgeside review, which is 2 members of the planning board that are hillside ridgeside review. The building inspector's comment was a ridgeline hillside review would be required, and he has concerns regarding the stormwater drainage runoff. That is primarily due to the slope on the property. So I would expect that the hillside ridgeside review is going to raise the question about contours on the property and the actual slope of the property. So I would expect that this is going to need to have contour lines put on there, which they should be able to, I would imagine they're just going to go off the GIS for the property. So there's gonna be,
That was done
what's that?
prior to this. That was done prior to this, done by, on another plan.
I think that it would be easy for the surveyor to add that to this plan.
Right, so, and if it's not on another plan, he can pull it off the GIS data on the website. There are contours for the site. But there's questions
if
from
the-
two departments.
if I had
If
known
you don't
this
mind,
prior to
if you
the-
don't mind, I'd like to try and give you
Oh,
the
I'm sorry,
information you
okay.
need. There's comments from two departments asking about the driveway. And reading into these, I'm suspecting those comments are because they don't see the slope on the property. So the building inspector had a concern with stormwater drainage and hillside ridge site review. So to me, that means we're gonna need to see contour lines on this. The fire chief needed more information about the driveway before the fire department approved it. So that leads me to believe the fire chief is gonna wanna see the proposed driveway and the grades and how
Well,
the
there
fire
is a party
trucks.
living at the end of it.
He's gonna wanna see the driveway and how the fire trucks are gonna get up there in case of emergency
On the map,
on the site
on the
plan.
site.
Before he
It's
says,
not on there now?
no.
There's a traveled way,
Yeah, that's it.
that's going to be the driveway?
That's my driveway.
But how is that driveway getting to this proposed building envelopes?
That's
So-
from Burley Road.
Right, but the traveled way is owned by Lemieux Construction according to this plan.
Well,
No, no, I have an easement on that.
So the traveled way comes up from Burley, and then it goes up over here, at the top
Yeah.
corner. It needs to get to your proposed building envelope, unless they're gonna drive off of this proposed driveway.
Yeah, that's where it's going. It's going
Realize
right off
Realize that this traveled way is 26 feet in this location, and it is 7 feet wide in this location. And 7 feet wide isn't wide enough for a
No,
driveway.
it's more than seven.
Not according to this plan. I
right,
can
but
show
see,
you if you want.
again, sir, again, it all comes down to this,
So this piece of paper has
this
to
plan
be,
gives us wrong information, okay?
So if this plan were accurate, this driveway would be 7 or 8 feet wide, which is way too short for a driveway. So we can't approve that. No, well, number one, it's not wide enough for a driveway, so we wouldn't be able to approve this as,
I mean,
A
that's the way it's, I mean, there's a house, in fact, one of the planning board members said.
I'm not bending on this, so there's no need to argue about it.
it has to show that it's wider than 7 feet, because 7 feet is too narrow according to the bylaws. of the
Oh, I
homes.
know, 7 feet is not much
Right.
Right.
longer than this table.
And a
Right.
fire truck would not.
No, I realize that.
Right.
So-
So this
It
goes
has to
back,
show it on,
this goes back to the fact that the site plan is the holy grail here.
you know, this.
Everything that you really plan to do and everything that is currently accurate has to be on this piece of paper. That's the law, okay? That's what this is all sort of honing down to, okay?
And then the other comment from the Conservation Commission was that there's natural heritage, endangered species mapped in the area. So you would have to file with natural heritage before they would before you could actually build on the property. I don't think we need that we don't need that for for us to approve.
I know, I was just going step one.
Yes, no, understood, but that's what they commented on, so I wanted to let you know that that's gonna be a step. I don't think we need that to
And I already
approve a
talked to
substandard
somebody
law.
in the health department and said that it shouldn't be a health issue here in this particular case.
So those are the only 3 comments we got back from town departments, was building inspector wanting a ridgeside hillside review and stating he had a concern over the stormwater drainage. Both of those lead me to believe that you're gonna need to put contours on this to get through a hillside ridgeside review or through the building inspector. And then the other one being the fire chief wanting information about the driveway. So you're gonna need the driveway and contour lines associated with the driveway, because I'm sure he's gonna wanna know where trucks can pull over or if they can turn around or whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not in that business, so I'm not sure, but my assumption is you're gonna need an accurate driveway
Well,
show.
it looks like I'm not gonna go anywhere tonight, right?
We're gonna have to continue this
Yeah,
hearing.
I figured.
And does the driveway for this needs to be shown on here from the driveway?
I would assume
to the
for-
building envelope?
For them to, approve, for the fire chief to say, yes, he's okay with it.
And then one other thing is the easement. Do we have proof of the easement? You say you have an easement on this other property.
Yes,
There's a copy of the only thing I have is the driveway maintenance agreement between the three parties, Casilius Vartanian and Charlie Dolben, which is no longer owned by Charlie Dolben. It's attached to the land and it's filed in the registry of deeds. And it's called they call it a traveled way on the plans, but it's called a right-of-way in the document. They're on the inside of your folder. Yeah, stamped too.
Real covenant, use and maintenance.
Here we are, okay. Yeah, and it's between who and whom?
Casilius Vartanian and Charlie Dolben, which is now owned by new party. I know. Charlie.
It's now owned by Bartanian?
No, I think you're
Yes.
saying,
The right-of-way parties are Vartanian, Dolben, and Casilius.
So you're all jointly right of way.
In Gonzales. He bought our house, which is at the end of the road there. I don't know who's represented here.
Gonzalez bought Dolben's property.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
but we have bought the property and nobody knew before that. But we have a right.
is that your house back there?
That's our own house.
Oh, it's your old house?
Yeah.
Did you run the speakeasy there?
Yeah, it's going to be traffic. The original record has to be updated.
That's funny.
Um,
Yeah, it's just,
You were the madam there?
They use the plan.
I gotta have some humor. You don't know what I'm
Do you
doing.
think that will be okay, you guys?
50 years.
Right of way, the easement?
uh,
Oh, it's in your folder, inside your folder.
Inside pocket
in the
of your
part
first
the left.
folder.
Oh, but you-
yeah, move my stuff there. I was like, I knew I saw it somewhere.
huh? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, this is a, yeah, an easement's just a easement, they've got a right, use of the right of way.
Right.
Yeah, as long as it carried through when the purchase of land,
it's not Dolben.
right, and.
It's tied to the land.
Right, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So it's tied to the land, okay.
Yeah, they've got the right to use it.
Okay, all right, so that's on it.
I mean, I have the report from the land court, but it's like this.
Yeah, no.
No, that's fine, but so that goes back to the original comment, so it says Vartanian, but obviously Vartanian's not on here. So you see where it doesn't line up?
Pardon me?
In here, in your easement, it says Vartanian. On here, there's no Vartanian. That's why I need this plan to say,
So
to
these
show,
two documents don't match.
so it all aligns. I think you can go back to your surveyor and tell him that something isn't matching up with other court documents or.
Well, we're gonna.
I know, where is that plan?
If you actually retain a surveyor, you're gonna have to pay money for this. This
I
is-
did already,
Well, you may have to pay
4
more.
times.
You're gonna have to pay more money for this if you really wanna do this, because they have to actually do a survey and then create a new site plan.
Yeah,
Not just stamp the old site plan.
I would probably check with this guy and say,
Okay.
why is this wrong? Yeah,
Right.
if
I
you
would
pay
go
him,
back and,
go back to him and say, why is this incorrect or inaccurate?
And develop to the zoning bylaws of today.
Right.
you mean,
It has to follow our zoning bylaws for development of land.
But at least now we have more information, we know what we still don't know, and we can secure the forward.
So you need the contour of the property, I mean.
We're gonna get you a list.
We'll send you a list of
We're gonna get
everything
you a
else
list.
that
You
you
don't
said.
have to remember it, okay?
No, because I do have that contour.
We understand that,
It's
but
all-
On one of my plans,
It's a,
We need it on,
we need it on this particular document, the new one you're gonna bring next time.
has to be,
We can't have old documents
Fully
proving things like that, okay? Sorry. We're doing the best we can.
pardon me,
We're doing the best we can.
I know you're right. I know you're right.
Any comments from the public?
So should we continue?
Do we have, we'll need to continue so that he can, so we can't close it.
Close it.
Because then we'll close it without the necessary information to approve it, and then we can't approve it. We need to continue it. Is there anything else? Is there any other issues with
With
the site plan that
Well,
we haven't pointed out?
well, I mean, I think a surveyor needs to review the site plan that is gonna be submitted, and they will know whether or not it's appropriate, right?
I thought the fellow who did this, knew what was going on. I know, not you.
I'm not a
I
board
know.
member.
So when I go, alright, so under section 7, it says minimum lot acreage 8 acres, it's got 8.5, a little over 8.5, that's fine.
Right.
Minimum square footage within 150 feet of the street, 9,000 square feet. I know he exceeds that, but it's usually the surveyors, they basically follow the bylaw and they put all that on the plan. So they showed that you have more than 8 acres. They have not called out that I can see. Now, I know you have more than 9,000 square feet within 150 feet because I did the measurements, but usually we see it there and it makes it a lot easier, doesn't.
No, I mean, but the
Questions?
acreage is shown there, right?
Yes, acreage is shown there.
But there's more
The-
detail that
Right.
needs to be done.
The frontage, when we see it, they usually show the actual lot frontage. Here, it kind of leaves it open for guessing because it shows 28.82 here and 45 there, but it's supposed to be measured at
I mean,
90
these
degree,
guys are
90 degree
licensed
angle.
surveyors. I mean, they're licensed to do this, and if that's what they put on the plan, it should be
Most of the
certified.
plans we get will show frontage, lot frontage, 72.35 feet. This one doesn't show that. Most of the plans will show square footage within 150 feet of the street, and they'll have a number. This one doesn't have a number. I know because I measured it and did the calculations, I know it's way over 9,000 feet, but it's not called out on the plan. And that's generally what they do. It's gonna take them 30 seconds to type that into a plan. It should have been done the first time, and if I were you, I'd go back and say, why didn't you do this? That's what I would do.
what is the box that says?
It says proposed driveway.
So is that correct, that, are
That's
they
right
using
on
the traveled way, or is there a proposed driveway on the Hampden side?
Oh, yeah.
Your site plan shows a proposed driveway on the Hampden
It's gonna
side.
show you.
Oh,
This right here.
that's not even there. That was,
From
that was
1996?
that was before I had the easement
Okay,
agreement.
Okay.
So
I'm
that's
gonna
another,
take that off.
that's another issue, right? Because if you're saying you're coming in the traveled way and you're showing a proposed driveway on
Right,
the
I
Hampden
mean,
side.
So you're coming in
so
here.
all I really have to do is take Lemieux's name off there and put Bartanian.
No,
Is that-
that's not all you have to do, and there's
There's
one,
And raise the driveway.
So
No.
get rid of that box that says proposed driveway.
Okay,
Then your travel way
right.
is too thin here. So that, it's a separate issue, but this traveled way needs to somehow connect to this building envelope to finish the driveway, you know what I mean? To get to the property.
You gotta show the driveway.
Right, and then it also needs to show, Jason was just saying, it needs to show your frontage here.
Okay, I mean, it shows it there.
It has to
That's
be
not how you
continuous.
measure
It has to be a continuous
Yeah.
line.
I know.
And that's so far
So,
what I've
so
got.
sir, what you really need to do is receive this letter from Joanne with the list of things, and then you need to hire a surveyor and hand that list to the surveyor,
And
okay?
I would first go to this surveyor who you've already paid to do this and say, there are inaccuracies that need to be.
It's not-
Surveyor
okay.
has to do it.
So here's the-
Yes,
The surveyor is responsible for looking at our bylaws. It's not Joanne's responsibility because that puts onus on the town.
yes, correct. We can't
We could be in a
advise and tell people what needs to be done, because if we miss something, then we're liable for missing.
So the surveyor has access to our zoning bylaws. They can go online, look at it. It's more or less a checklist that they can go down and make sure everything is on here. But like Heather said, I would go back to the surveyor and ask him why he didn't do that. Okay?
And Joanne, I can help you direct this.
No, nothing.
Oh, no,
We're
okay.
not directing a letter.
Well, I was just gonna say,
No.
okay, never mind. All right, I wasn't gonna say that. Okay. All right, I see what you're saying. No, so we're not gonna be sending her a letter, because we're
Or a
confusing him.
list.
A list, we're not gonna be sending him a list.
Are you gonna be responsible for that list?
No. For being, no, and I would put something on the list saying that it's not comprehensive, these are suggestions.
I am getting the list, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, from the zoning bylaws. Right
There
here.
is a
I
list.
think just a list of
A
things he
certified
needs to.
surveyor.
Not a certified surveyor should know how to do this.
Not the zoning stuff he needs to, we're saying he needs to go back to the surveyor. Are we telling him that he needs to do a ridgeline hillside, because he doesn't know this?
He doesn't have it all, yeah.
Yeah,
The
but the
hillside-
hillside doesn't fall into play until he pulls a building permit.
Okay,
So
so that's,
he's just getting approval for a
So all
substandard
he
frontage
needs to
lot, that's all.
Right, right, that's true.
But the driveway
That has to be,
has gotten called into question
Yeah.
because of the contours.
and because who owns the property that the driveway's going in?
Right.
Right.
So,
so he just
so there's nothing
needs-
else that needs to go on the list other than you need to hire a surveyor to have an accurate site plan presented?
At this
What
juncture.
list?
No, we were all talking about a list a few minutes ago, and I'm just trying to get us back to where we are gonna end.
His to-dos at this point are just
Okay.
get an updated site plan. At this juncture, that's all we need.
Yes.
And then,
An accurate, updated site plan.
Yes.
So there will be no list.
the list is just
The
get
list
an
is the
accurate site plan.
bylaws. Yeah, the
And from
bylaws.
that, it's the bylaw.
And any surveyor will know to look at the bylaws.
No, no, I don't think so.
Well, only a surveyor who you're going to pay money to.
I already paid them
Well, not,
3 times, different, never mind. Okay, thank you.
Well, we have to, we have to agree on a continuation date
yes.
in this public hearing. Yes.
How long do you think you need to get this done?
I don't know. I really don't know, honey. I've been through this for almost 50 years now, so a
Say
little bit
September
more or
1st,
less
good.
isn't gonna make any difference.
Well, it does here, because then you'd have to close the hearing and make no decision, and then we have to start the whole process over again. So we either
Has to be
continue
this
it and
year.
decide on a date, or you close the hearing with no
Right.
decision made,
Can we say
You can't
October?
close it with no decision made, or else
no action taken, whatever the wording is.
wouldn't that automatically?
I will contact
Denial,
Joanne.
you're denying the site plan.
Well, we would have to vote to deny.
Correct, correct.
Right.
Something has to be
No
decided.
decision, no
Well,
decision
when's the
would
next
expire.
meeting? I'm sorry.
That's what we're trying to determine, is when the next time.
Are you in a hurry?
Am I in a hurry?
Yeah, to do it in September? Do you want to do it in September? Do you
I
want
would like to
another
get
public
things
hearing?
done by September, yeah.
And you think you can get this, hire a surveyor and get an accurate site plan by September?
I think so.
Okay, so he's asking for September.
All right, so it says,
We got the 13th and 27th.
we have one continued on.
September or October.
I'm gone the 13th, I don't know if that matters.
How about October 11th?
Most likely September,
Do you want September?
yes.
Do you want September 27th? We already have one continued.
Yeah, threshold, yeah.
Can you hear what they're saying?
September 27th.
September 27th, sir.
Motion.
Did you hear me?
Pardon?
I'd move that we continue the special permit public hearing until September 27th, 2023,
I second the motion.
At 6 PM, it has to be.
at 6 PM.
Did you hear that, sir? Okay. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
thank you.
Okay.
All right. Next, come on down. Are your bumpers on?
There's just Lisa, one of my bumpers.
Barker, are you old enough to remember Bob Barker?
I'm older than that.
I'm old enough to remember bumpers.
Not from a Happy Gilmore.
Price is right. But it is the happy go.
Yeah. How are y'all? Why not? Come on, any day above ground's a good day.
You have no sleep.
Not as good as what?
I was sitting here for the entire session, okay?
Oh.
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, so we're,
Remember what Gandhi said, every day is a gift, that's why they call it a present.
I agree.
I don't really know if Gandhi said that.
You just read it online. So.
Something in my head said Gandhi said that.
Somebody said it, and I heard it.
All right.
Okay, well,
Hold on, please. So we're gonna open the next public hearing, July 22nd. Oh my gosh, 26, 2023, case 2023D. Introduction of the planning board members, Madison Pixley, Chair, Jason Brosso, Heather Beatty, Kristen Brodor, Pat Coyne, and Joanne Pior. The planning board is established under Chapter 48 of the General Laws of Massachusetts and acts in compliance with Chapter 48 under the zoning bylaws of the Town of Hampden. Chapter 41 governing the submission and approval of plots or proposed subdivisions and the rules and regulations governing the subdivision of land in Hampden, Massachusetts. The legal notice was the Hampden Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 26, 2023 at 6:45 p.m. in the Townhouse, 625 Main Street, Hampden, Mass. On the application of Austin Graham of Graham Construction for a special permit under section 7.542 of the Hampden zoning bylaw for a common driveway to provide access to 3 adjoining lots owned by the applicant located on Highland Circle and South Munson Road, lots 45, 46, and 47. Information related to this application is on file in the town clerk's office and is available for review by the public during normal business hours for the board. Madison Pixley, Chair of the Hampden Planning Board, published in the Wilbraham Hampden Times, July 6th and July 13th, 2023. Our reports received from other town departments and agencies. The town clerk reported there are no outstanding taxes to date. The building inspector stated a ridgeline hillside review would be required. He also has a concern regarding the stormwater drainage and runoff. The fire chief Ed Poulin provided his comments regarding this application. One, with one access to 3 homes and 1 lane vehicle traffic will make any emergency call difficult to manage. Number 2, the amount of area needed for fire apparatus would block egress access for the other dwellings in the event of an emergency. Number 3, during a weather event, who is responsible for all 3 dwellings and the main access driveway. The Board of Health reports no issues. The police chief, Scott B. Tremblay, reports he has no concerns. The Conservation Commission reported that this parcel contains NHESP mapped areas. The applicant will have to file with the NHESP before developing the land. The highway superintendent questioned, is there an engineered plan specifically that reflects the stormwater drainage of this common driveway as stated in the zoning bylaw section 7.542D9 and E2? His concern is the downward slope off this land toward the Highland Circle cul-de-sac and adjacent properties. With the increase of stormwater runoff into the Highland Circle cul-de-sac, not just from this common driveway, but also from the development itself, our town rights of way, drainage, and roadways could potentially be damaged. Also, the town shall not be responsible for any future maintenance or repairs. He believes the property owners should be responsible for any damage done to town property, including right-of-ways, drainage, and roadways. He foresees several issues if this additional stormwater runoff is not contained within this property, with perhaps a small system of catch basins and detention areas, as required in the stormwater regulations. Lastly, Highland Circle and Hillside Drive are scheduled to be milled and paved in 2023-24. Any damage done to the newly paved surface as a result of this project shall be repaired to the town's satisfaction by the contractor. His opinion is that this could be handled much like the Thresher Road situation and having a peer review done by Time Bond, especially as it relates to stormwater runoff and erosion measures. Also, when the time comes, he would like a copy of the legal documents stating that at no time shall this common driveway become the responsibility of the town, as referenced in 7.542A2 and B2.
I have a quick comment on the comments you read. So the reference to 7.542D9 shouldn't come into play, it should be, but E2 does come into play. So, D9 is flexible residential open space developments, and this is not a flexible residential open space development. So the reference should be 7.542E as in Edgar 2.
And I have another comment on those same comments.
Well, can we let him
Oh,
for that
sorry.
first?
Okay, yeah.
And this is being recorded. Okay, your turn.
I hereby presented plans for 3 residential homes on Highland Circle.
That's it? All right.
Which, so are we gonna look at this?
I think they're all important.
You think they're all?
Well, this is a cross section.
Yeah.
Common driveway, that's shown up here. Second page.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Need more room.
So, the first one I looked at would be a substandard frontage. So you need special permits for each of those. I don't think. What? Which one's which?
What numbers are they?
So is this 46?
That's 45. I put them in your folders, pictures of each one. There you go. Under the zoning is each lot number. What do you say for the lot numbers? Yeah. Well, some people do.
Tree, I'll probably let a tree vary. Talk about this like scalloping.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be the tree vary.
Is there any reason it's backwards on the law? Oh, it's just
No.
inside
it's
out.
designed,
Yeah, just curious.
Right, so
These are the actual structures, the outlines of the actual houses.
So is lot 45 access from Highland Circle or from South Munson Road?
No, everything's from the same, Highland Circle. South Munson Road has an easy right away too that I could access, but it doesn't make any sense to.
Oh, so that's not
Yeah.
planning to be used. Okay.
We had an approval for 11 lots.
When you did the
When I
subdivision?
did the subdivision, and we were going to use that
Hello,
for.
can you speak into the mic so we
Yeah.
can hear?
Is it on?
Zoom.
I'm sorry. Yep. I'll speak a little louder. When we did the subdivision originally, some years ago, I was going to use that as a fire
Entrance.
entrance, but we're not doing the 11 lots anymore, so. Pardon?
So have you done a peer review for stormwater?
We did layout, I think I did it to, my engineer gave it to, I know they checked the fire department already, the highway. I can't remember right now, it's been so long since I submitted these things. But practically everything that was required was done before I can get to this meeting to know what more they would need and what is not required. But I cross and them that every time, I reply back to you.
Fire chief comment is just, I ended up speaking to the fire chief
Yeah.
after the last one, and that was just,
I think it's the
comment,
size
just
of
not
the-
a
size of the
general,
driveways.
well, it was a general concern. There was a number of them, but it was a general concern with the bylaw, not necessarily this development, so.
So that would be the same here, right? Number one is the same. What is it?
Yes.
Access to three homes, want to do the thing.
That's the same comment he made at the last,
Is that what
public
you're
hearing
talking
we had.
about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And number two, amount of area needed for the apparatus would block egress to the
Correct.
other dwellings.
Yeah, I believe all.
He's the one who's responsible. Okay, so.
These weren't new comments, these are the same comments from the first public hearing.
Well, that
He
was
didn't have
No, but
hearing.
another public hearing.
This is from Thresher
No,
Road.
these are all new for this public
Right,
hearing.
but I think they're
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
of the Thresher Road complex.
Yeah,
You're
that's
thinking
what it
Thresher
was.
Road,
I am,
yes, you
yeah.
are.
It's
Same
right,
comments
same
from
cons-
fire.
Right,
Yep.
same.
Every
concern.
common
Yes.
driveway, he has those concerns.
Yes.
So what we're concluding here is that the fire chief will put these comments on every.
Yes.
Common driveway,
Common
yes,
driveway.
because he,
Common driver, because he
has
personally has a
legitimately-
legitimate concern.
well, he has legitimate
Right,
concerns
right.
with common driveway.
Okay,
But
alright.
the bylaws allow them, so
Right.
if they meet the bylaws, you can't restrict them,
Right,
so we can't say no
okay,
if it meets the bylaws. He understands that,
yes. Okay.
but he will
He
continue
will
to
continue to write it,
voice
yes,
his
yes, I mean,
concern.
As he
should,
should.
Right.
yeah,
As he
okay. Alright. Next.
Did we have, did we get a stormwater review or anything from
What I was,
peer review?
should I do it?
Go ahead.
Back in 2018, we submitted the subdivision. He had a peer review done for the subdivision, which is the same property, and those minutes with the peer review comments. She has a copy of it. I pulled those out at the last minute because there were drainage concerns, so I just pulled those out from that peer review. I don't know if they'd be, we'd have to have another one, or those are comments are sufficient.
You need another one, it's totally different.
Well, excuse me,
If you don't mind, please wait for
We'll
her to
call on
recognize
her.
you. We will get the public comment.
so those are the comments from Ty and Bonds for the subdivision, when there was 11 lots, I believe.
Right, at a bare minimum, they've got to look at it and see if it's the same or if it's changed, right?
That was my question, do we have to?
Yeah, I mean, or the subdivision would have had, I believe, would have had stormwater controls in it. I don't recall what it was, but it would have had some sort of,
Drainage issues, if there are addressed in there, but.
And did you include those in the packet?
No, I pulled those at the last minute
At
and
the last
sent them
minute,
to her to see if we need to have a new stormwater
Right.
peer review or not, so I
And
figured.
her is our town council?
No, her is chair.
Oh, I see, all right.
So I didn't know if we had to request a new one, or by her looking at that, or we would need additional,
Sorry, it's the same property, just.
different configuration.
if you change the configuration of the driveway, it's not the same
Right.
stormwater flow.
Just the same
Street.
piece of property.
That's what my question was to her.
Yeah, because the stormwater drainage had retention basins in it. I think this doesn't have any stormwater controls, it's just sheet flow, right? So I think it's, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be completely different. They're basically gonna look at sheet flow based on the grades that he's got. Sheet flow meaning the way the water
Talking about
flows.
me, but I'm assuming we need to do a third-party peer review on drainage.
On the storm, on the drainage.
Okay.
Each of them have a substandard frontage. They each need to have a special permit.
Or one permit for 3 substandard frontage lots that would be filed, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because it
We've
allows
done
up to 3.
multiple
Yeah, it allows,
Allows up
the
to
bylaws allow up to 3.
common driveway, yeah, that's for the common driveway to service
Oh.
3. But do we need a special permit for each substandard frontage lots, 3 separate lots? Can you file a decision for all 3 lots at the registry?
I guess, no.
So it can be done on one permit referencing 3 parcels, so one permit.
Yeah, I would think you can do
We've done,
one
yeah,
permit with 3 lots.
referencing all 3. yeah.
Right. Because the planning board may, after public hearing, issue a special permit waiving the requirements of table 7.2 for lots with substandard frontage.
What page is it, please?
68. And then there shall be no more than, there shall be no more than 2 substandard frontage lots created within 320 feet. Within 320 feet of any frontage. In any way.
Within,
There shall be, let's see, there shall be no more than 2 substandard frontage lots created within any 320 feet of any frontage in any way.
so the 320 belongs to the frontage length.
Yes. That's
the question, right?
it's a lot of any's in there.
Yeah.
There shall be no more than 2 substandard frontage lots created within any 320 feet of any frontage on any way.
So that's why he's using frontage probably on South Hampton Road. That gives him,
What is the 320
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah, so he's got frontage on 2 streets.
Yes.
Oh, so that gets you the,
Within 320 feet, you can't have 2 substandard.
Okay.
all making sense.
This is not his first rodeo.
It's got frontage on South
South
London.
London. How much is there,
That
60?
one,
60.
60 on the dot?
60-20.
And then the other 2 would come off the circle.
Correct.
And then it's only 2 of them,
Frontage
so.
would come out,
Right,
yeah.
frontage comes off that circle.
Yep.
Okay. Any comments?
I do have some comments on the second page here of the highway superintendent. All of his concerns about future maintenance and repair, and then asking for a copy of the legal document stating that at no time shall become the responsibility of the town. All of that is covered by the bylaws, and it's very specific in a couple of places in the bylaws. So I don't think that should be necessary unless someone can talk me out of that.
I would agree with you.
I agree, Heather.
I mean, the bylaw requires, I'd have to go back and look for the specifics, but I
Well,
think
as
we
we
need to
were
have a
reading them
maintenance-
earlier, I saw
yeah, that
them,
maintenance
yeah.
agreement.
Right, I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
I saw it in at least 2 places.
maintenance agreement amongst the owners of the homes.
It's the same as the,
It specifically says it in the common bylaw,
Yeah.
common driveway bylaw.
What did you?
It's listed in the common.
Right, the common
driveway
driveways, right,
bylaws.
yeah.
Bylaws.
Right.
No common driveway shall be accepted as a public road, nor shall the town under any circumstances be held liable for any construction, reconstruction, maintenance, or snow removal of any common driveways.
And then under B4, each landowner served by the common driveway shall jointly and severally responsible and liable for repair and maintenance of all portions of the common driveway to which more than one landowner holds a right of way. I mean, it's really spelled out.
And the landowners of all residences served by a common driveway shall be granted a right-of-way for the use of the common driveway. Such right-of-way shall be recorded in the Hampden County Registry of Deeds together with statement of covenants as follows. So all that will be publicly recorded at the registry.
And this, any damage done to the newly paved surface as a result of this project would apply to literally any other building, to any other paved surface that it meets, right, in town? If I wanted to build a house and I paved a driveway and wrecked the road, I don't really think that it's not really something we would.
I'm pretty confident it's just another way to,
Redundancy.
state concerns, which
Yeah.
we understand.
So what are we left with?
I think all we're left with is, from this, is stormwater review.
so we need a stormwater review, but we also need to do a special permit for the,
And special permit, right?
Substandard lots,
Right.
substandard lots, so,
we need to do that before we can approve this.
yeah. Because you can't have a common driveway for lots that don't exist.
I could have told you that.
Special permit first.
Just wondering why he didn't put it on the application. Why didn't you request the substandard frontage lots with the common driveway? I was wondering.
I don't know.
I'm just
Is there
wondering.
any reason you didn't request the substandard frontage lots
Originally.
with the
Too
common
much was
driveway?
on my mind, to be
Oh,
honest with you.
okay.
Honesty is the best policy.
Mhm.
Any questions or comments from the public? Can you just state your name, please?
Yes, Ralph DeLulo. We have 229 South Munson Road. We have the most frontage against this. The previous owners of our homestead is what constitutes all this land down here. We're down low. Everything in this property, maybe some of it does go to Hampden Heights, whatever. 90% of it comes down on our property. All right, it's a swamp. It's a swamp. All right, you go across to the historical building across the street, and you see this thing mapped from like 1812, 1820s, and it shows a dotted line. They tried doing a road back there in early 1800s. It's called the Green Swamp for a reason. Now, when I stepped up earlier, you cannot use that other tie and bond stormwater plan, because I have friends at Tie and Bond. I don't get involved with trying to compromise anything like that, but whoever did that plan from Tie and Bond then wasn't thinking. He had this retention pond basically on our property in a swamp.
It didn't get approved.
And there you go, okay, right. I won't go that. So we need a whole new thing here.
Yes,
Yep, that's what we
agreed.
requested.
We had a drought the last few years, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years ago, the driest it's ever been. It was wet back there.
Yes,
So we need,
We agree.
just so that you're aware, he will have to control stormwater from what he disturbs. He doesn't have to stop what's currently going down to your property from going down to your property.
understood.
Okay. Just so, yeah, but yes, 100% agree, there needs to be a new review of how water is gonna flow once he clears the trees, once he.
The only other thing I'll say is we bought our property in '95. Again, the people before us, they sold all this property to Hampden Heights. In return, they were supposed to get a lot, they got screwed. Anyway, so they sold off 26 acres in 1988. That's all this stuff. It's why we're here. I've been there since '95. This is like the third developer that's been in there. There's a reason for that, all right? I don't know, people need to do due diligence when they buy these properties, but there's a reason since the late '80s why this hasn't been developed. I'm just, think about that, folks. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Daniela Thomas. My property abuts one of the proposed properties, and I was just wondering if there's any way that we can see what is being proposed behind our house and how close to our property line this roadway is going to be going behind our house.
Does it have any other, it doesn't have their houses?
Try to see what. I think, yeah.
Okay.
What was your name again?
Daniela Thomas, I live in the Obuchesky Road house. So the third property, the South Munson one, would be the one that abuts our property, and I just, want to know how close a road is going to be to my house.
I think we're on the other side of Danielle. Aren't you on Hillside?
Hillside, 18 Hillside. So I'm thinking it's that one, that right there with the house, like, right, is that house on our property line?
No,
This
those
is
are
you
just
here.
one.
This-
Oh, it's from,
No, this is separation. We'll be here.
okay. Can I take a picture of this?
So here's Hillside. So she's right here. I think she's right here.
Okay, so she was.
Or
She's
45.
up top of the hill, like,
Yeah.
way up.
Okay, I
Well, this is,
45 is,
He's lot 45.
Yep.
because we looked all over and we could not
yeah, it's
find
far away
a
from the.
picture of what was being
This is your
proposed.
It's a really odd shaped lot. Yeah, this one lot is super odd shaped.
I think it's the first one coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so is there a guarantee that this is actually gonna be where the houses are placed, or is?
That's,
Yeah, that's
Yes,
what we're, that's
the
what we're
point of
approving.
this plan, yeah, that it has to be where they put it.
Yes, site plan.
On a driveway.
That's not it.
Good.
Right there, looks like Wayne, no.
Yeah.
Is it Wayne?
There's an extra copy, Gail.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
She is.
Do you wanna come look at this?
I have an extra copy.
No, this, he's looking at this.
I only have one extra. I can put it over here if you want to do it, John.
What's your last name?
Oh, I saw
You're right
it.
here. So this is where the closest house right there.
Very far away.
There was a discussion last time about the land, just to be a road, and we're not to do that, so we can't do it.
Yeah, that was right here. So essentially, this access off of South Munson will just remain as is.
Yes. Yeah.
It'll be just
Understood. Understood.
He doesn't need to use it, so they'll come in from over here.
That's it.
There was a discussion last time about dividing out unused land between the two owners. I don't think that's still.
Well, I mean, depends on if they have something like that.
Free relative.
The problem.
Good. I bet one day, and I also want this property over here, on the other side. But I have some questions relative to the, I guess it's called a drive, common driveway.
Can you state your name and address?
Is that built to the
Tell your
same?
name and address.
Oh, Alpha Emery?
Yep.
195 South Munson Road, and next door.
Yep, we just have to have that.
That's
for the
fine.
public hearing.
That's quite all right.
Yep.
Is the drive built to the same specs as the road?
The drive will not be built to the same specs as the road.
Has anything been done to look at, there's quite a disparity in the actual, if you look at the topographical map, there's a high to a low. I'm at the low.
Yep.
I'm trying to find out what provisions have been made. I know this is like the third time that requests are made to develop this land in
Yep.
different ways by this petitioner.
Yep.
But I'm trying to find out if an impact study has been done or anything to see what's gonna happen with runoff.
That's what we're,
Based on
that's
this
the
site.
stormwater.
Yeah,
that's the
I was
stormwater
kind of at a
review.
disadvantage because I
Yeah.
couldn't hear a few guys were
Yep.
Yeah, so
talking about that.
stormwater peer review will be able to
All
help.
different types, you know, on that side. Has provisions been made for that with this drive?
Not,
And is the drive
I
also?
can't speak for the applicant, but we have to, we're gonna send these plans to our consultant.
Yeah.
They're gonna review them and say, and state whether or not they've got concerns and whether the,
Another technical question is, how many more houses can go on this drive?
that's it.
This is only gonna be approved for 3.
You can only get.
This will only be approved for 3.
So with a common driveway, you can only have 3 houses on a
So
common
they're
driveway.
not gonna put
never
another
do
house
that.
on this other land?
Not on that common drive.
Well, can't do it either.
Okay.
He gotta- he would have to get frontage from somewhere else.
You have to be first.
So,
Which would like.
right now,
Wait a minute, hold on.
hold on.
Can't hear them. I know, this room is horrible.
Frustrating.
So you can only get 3 houses on a common, you can only get 3 houses on a common drive, which he
Okay.
has. You can only have 2 substandard lots per frontage. So he's got frontage here, which you can get 2 lots on, and then he's got frontage on South Munson, which you can get 1 lot.
Yes.
So unless he gets more frontage, more road frontage somewhere,
Now, what happens with these 2 lots down here?
That's part
that's
of
part
this.
of that, that's part
It's
of
That
kind of
that.
becomes part of this here?
It
That
is
part of
currently.
it. Yeah, it's
It's
currently.
kind of a funky shaped lot.
So you're saying that 3 houses is all he can do on all this property?
Yes.
Unless he puts a road there.
Unless he puts the road in?
And that would not be happening.
That's a
I
lot.
love being here, but I don't want to be here anymore. That's it.
Does that answer your question?
I believe so.
And we'll be back again after.
In addition, get all more information. They're doing ridge line and hillside, right?
I think that covers
That would be
it.
after.
Yeah, that's pretty much what, all right.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, this lady has a question too. Your name?
Hello, kind of piggybacked on that. Porcello and your son. I love your son.
Which one of them?
Sir, he's my.
Sir Cameron?
Sir Cameron.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna have him.
He drives too
My
fast.
daughter and him are very good friends, but anyway, I live on 18 Highland Circle. I just had kind of a couple little questions, because this has been going on for years. I'm wondering about the other 7 of the 11, that would not be like next year or the following year?
No, we need 7 of the 11.
Well, there's 11 houses if
The
you're
original,
right
the
now.
original subdivision is out. He had proposed building a street,
And that's it.
and so now it's. a
And there wouldn't be room for 7 more.
Not unless he gets frontage
Permit,
from somebody.
yeah, that permit expired, so this is a new one, only applying for a common driveway with 3 lots.
Well, can he take out another permit next year for more?
He needs frontage.
We need to find a way to get frontage, which we have to put a road in.
Okay. My second question is pertaining to that. Oh, because I live on Hampden Circle. Like, why isn't it coming off South Munson to, why do they have to come down Hampden Circle to go around? I'm just curious, why isn't the common driveway or the entryway off of South Munson?
I would imagine your entrance off of Highland Circle is gonna be much easier. It's much longer, it's sweeping, and it doesn't go straight up.
Could there be a potential future build off of the Highlands
No.
to the South Munson to make a roadway to that
Can
end?
you state your name for the record?
Sorry, Danielle Thomas.
Okay.
So I get you're coming off of Highlands and you're going in, and you have the ability to come off South Munson if you had liked to, but you're not at this time. So in the future, is there a possibility that it could come off South Munson, then be considered a roadway,
The
then more
frontage-
houses?
The frontage on South 100% should. I'm probably yelling at people when I do that. So this frontage right here
Yeah.
allows him to build this house.
This house only, okay.
He only, so you can get, two substandard lots per 320 feet of frontage. So he's using this common driveway to put in 3 houses. The most number of houses he can build on a common driveway are 3. He can only do 2 substandard lots per frontage.
Are you saying?
Right.
From the
So I'm saying in the future, if they ever decide, since this is owned by them too, they decide to connect this and then it changes it from a common driveway to then a roadway, then can they do that?
No, there's complete, like, it's a much bigger,
Well, could they ever
It's
turn
a
this
month.
into a roadway in general to come in and take over, put more homes in?
I'll see to that doesn't happen, because I'm thinking about giving it to somebody, but I'm not.
Well, I'm asking more, could it? Is it a
Anything is
possibility?
possible.
That's what,
with engineering, anything's possible.
that's what I'm
I
afraid.
mean, if
Based
you
on
put
the
a
proposal
wall,
that's in front of us,
It's not.
there's no access from there to here.
Correct. Correct.
Ever.
Well, no, now
Unless,
there's no
unless,
effort.
based on the proposal in front of
if
us.
Based on
they were to
proposal,
take
yes,
this,
that's
if they were to take this
Big
20 years
road,
down the road and
obviously.
they wanna turn this common
Yeah.
driveway into
Yeah.
a road and deal with the
Exactly.
stormwater structures and
Yeah.
the wetlands and all that stuff, but
One other question, who maintains this?
The common driveway, own the houses that the common driveway services.
What if somebody defaults?
They can't,
Yeah, no, it's-
it's in our bylaws, it's written in our
When they
What if
bylaws.
they go bankrupt, then, you know, they can't.
then the other two people.
Right. When they buy the home,
It's
they
an
have to
agreement.
sign a legal agreement, a maintenance agreement. So all 3 of these people who buy the home, it'll come up on their title search. Or, when somebody buys the home, they,
Yes.
thank you.
Precise.
What if this guy gets into an argument with this guy?
That's
It's a
up to them.
personal
That's
problem,
it.
it's not, the
Then
town's
the
not,
courts get involved.
the town's not
Right.
responsible for that.
So it's almost like a down zoning to the people that live in the area that went by the restrictive covenants. You know what I'm saying, property value wise? Yeah.
I'd be
Okay,
concerned that driveway gets used, gets turned into a driveway.
that's the,
I'm sorry?
that's the
The
down.
driveway that's not part of the plan but it's there in the original plan, that it gets.
What do you mean on the original
This,
plan? There's no
the
original
South
plan,
Munson.
this is the only plan.
The South Munson.
That one
There's
has
no,
expired.
this is the
That plan
only plan.
expired, it doesn't.
There will be
I
no
think you're speaking to
connection
the
with
old
that
Hampton
driveway.
Heights plan, correct, where the
Yeah.
street went.
Those are
Street.
invalid. Yeah.
There is a plan.
Yeah, they
that shows
expire,
the
permits
original
they're not
Hampton Heights
valid.
permits
plan.
expire after.
And
so-
this will be the only thing that can be built off of.
And there's frontage here, but I believe this is all wooded.
Yes.
It is already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
great,
it's
it's
fair.
fairly sweet. But, yeah, the previous submittals for this are all off limbo. They've expired. And now there's a new submittal for it, and that's what we're considering.
Can I ask a question? Joanne Ovids from Island Circle. What type of homes are being planned?
Single
Built there.
family homes,
What's that?
single family homes, mostly ranch style.
Ranch style?
Yeah.
Any,
That-
how big?
I know that was an
Nothing,
expensive.
for- we can't control that in this public.
It's not gonna be under 3,000 square feet, that's for sure.
Yeah, the covenant is like 2,700 anyway, so it's.
Right, that's what I said.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be under 3,000 square feet.
It will not be under 3,000.
Under 3,000
It's
square feet.
irrelevant
Living
for our
space.
Yeah, I know,
consideration and
but I'm just trying to repeat that so they can hear it.
Two of them,
I'm
two
just
of them.
being clear,
Yeah, yes.
so.
So you're thinking,
So, but just to clarify, that unused land, who owns that?
There is no one.
Unused land?
Where the
it
driveway
was
is?
unbuilt on, of the original
This,
subdivision.
this gentleman owns all the property that he's proposing to develop. All we can do is consider whether or not what he's proposing is legal under our bylaws.
Got it.
So, going into what his plan is with unused portions of land is something that you guys should talk outside of a public hearing on.
Got it.
As far as environmental impact, you folks do that, you request that?
I'm not sure what you mean by environmental impact. If you were to go by,
Basically,
this
runoff.
development wouldn't, so runoff, yes, stormwater, we're
in other
requesting.
words, let's go, who's it gonna go, what's your next step after this?
We're gonna request a review of these plans to determine impacts to stormwater and see if they, so, and the reason I ask is because in the development world, an environmental impact study is something completely different, and it's something that gets taken on when you're building like a casino or an airport, so that is actually a thing, so that's why I want to be clear.
I'm familiar with it.
Right. When you're doing large-scale developments, that's when you do an environmental impact report. But yes, we're requesting a review, we will be requesting a review to our consultants for the stormwater.
And National Heritage will be filed, but that's not our.
It's not our purview.
These things, is there
What-
any?
No, he has.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Ralph DeNulo, South Munson, 229. So will the Conservation Commission be involved with that? So people that know what they're doing will be involved with that?
Any development that's within regulated areas will need to go in front of the Conservation Commission. I don't know, the Conservation Commission has to do with wetlands and natural heritage.
In the ridge line? whatever.
Hillside, ridge side,
Hillside,
ridge side would be
Ridge
us two. That
That's
happens,
you folks?
that's me and Christine.
That's it, that's within that.
Yes, so hillside, ridge side, I mean, honestly, what's gonna come out of, there's gonna be a stormwater review by the time we go do the hillside, ridge side. So it's gonna be fairly limited what we're looking at after this gets settled, because we're already gonna have determinations on the stormwater.
And Conservation did look at the plan.
Yes, they did.
Conservation Commission did review it, so they're the ones that said it has to go back to National Heritage.
What was the date of that determination?
These all were,
What date of what determination?
when Conservation looked at it,
Oh,
those are, since these plans were given to us in the
Yeah,
last, what month?
yeah,
So
within the last.
it's recent?
Yes,
it's
it's
all-
all,
this-
they're all
Again, I've
past.
been through this like
This-
how many
So
times?
everything
How
tonight,
many
that's
iterations? I mean,
understood, everything tonight that's been presented though is based on these new plans, all old plans,
And
Already
anything
done.
associated with those old plans are completely null and void.
any starting
Also,
over
This application was received on May 16th, so the Conservation Commission has looked at these
recently.
after May 16th.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
Danielle at Hillside, how much acreage is with each one of these properties?
So this one, this lot 45
Is 10.16, so all of this area?
it's kind of shaped like.
Okay, so that's all of that, and this is all of that.
It's kind of funky. 46 is 15 acres because it comes down here and they've got all of here. Yeah.
And I mean, this is probably a dumb question, but they clear all that if they want to.
No.
The whole
No. If conservation was, I don't know the specifics, but.
No, you have a certain amount that
Let's
you.
put it this way, under hillside, ridgeside,
Ridgeline, hillside.
ridgeline, side, hillside.
I just let it go.
Yeah, whatever it is I do. Yeah, there's no way that.
You can't just go cut,
I mean, that's
because you can cut trees, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Just can't.
Clear cut, yeah.
And
then
you
this
exceed a
one's
certain number of acreage and then
Yes.
you get filed with the state.
That would be a lot. No, I just wanna make sure we're not clear.
I know you want your privacy, you will have your privacy.
Are they gonna be blasting that, or, like, with
Ledge. Bedrock.
I couldn't, I'm saying no, I could say yes.
That's what you try to do.
Yeah, they have.
Okay.
All right, so next steps. Special permit for substandard lots, 3 substandard lots. And you need to get a peer review for the stormwater.
I thought it was 2 substantial.
He has frontage on the side.
One of them
Not
has
200
two,
They're all
right?
6 feet.
One of them has 2 lots and one of them has 1 lot. That's what she's.
There's 3 lots.
No, I was confused.
Yeah. He needs 3 substandard lots.
The lots, yeah, there's 3 lots that need approval for substandard
Right.
frontage. Yeah. That's how we need to say it.
I was
Yes.
confused with the driveway access.
Been around you.
Okay?
Okay?
So we'll continue this until,
Sooner the better.
The only problem being is if he's requesting special permits for the substandard frontage lot, we have to have a whole new public hearing. So are we doing that?
We have to do that first, because the lot doesn't exist until that's done,
That's,
right?
September 13th, so that give you enough time to,
September 13th.
And we,
we meet once in August.
For the substandard frontage.
so,
No, August 9th, when we have a special permit.
That's too soon to put out public notice.
And then that's the only time we meet.
What date did you say?
September 13th.
So we use the term stormwater review and peer review.
peer review meaning
Peer
a
review of-
consultant.
Is that one and the same?
consultant is the
Peer review is anytime we're hiring a consultant to review something.
That's where the
In
stormwater
this
review
case,
occurs.
Yeah, it's right.
well, yes, in this case it'd be for stormwater, but like when we had the ATM folks that wanted to put, let's say with somebody, right, we have a peer review, we can have peer reviews of guys other than stormwater, so
But in
yes.
this instance, it will
Yes.
be the stormwater.
Correct, yes.
So it would be published on the 24th and the 31st. I'd need the package by the week of the 6th. I need the application and the plans and everything.
6 stuff.
August, because we have so many public hearings, I'm not gonna be able to do it all. That's
6th of August, and we are now the 26th.
But that's for the special permit for the substandard lots, that's not for everything.
Let's take a week and a half.
Okay.
And we also have to have a peer review.
Or else we have to put it off to another.
I know, I'm trying, I gotta make that call immediately.
Substandard lots? Do you think that we need the peer review for the substandard?
I do not think we need,
The peer review.
If we approve, can we approve the substandard lots without?
I really didn't, I mean, no.
good, okay.
Okay,
I
so
didn't-
your
I
question is,
didn't
do you
either.
need? What? Is your question?
Do we need,
Substandard frontage, do you need water?
do we need stormwater review for substandard frontage? So, for substandard frontage.
if you're gonna do a peer review on a common driveway and you're gonna disturb the land for 3 lots, wouldn't you think the drainage for that, if that's
I think that,
taken
yeah,
into consideration?
All right, so we need to do the peer review first,
Review.
and then, what do we think the turnaround for peer review?
I think he has to do the special permit for the 3 substandard frontage lots with the plan.
which we won't approve until we have a peer review on the stormwater.
You have to have it ready.
So he should get the peer review going now before he submits an application for the substandard lots. Because that way we'll have the peer review of the stormwater when we're considering the substandard lots.
Can I just ask you a question? When they do the peer review, that's drainage for the common driveway.
Yes.
Do they take into consideration the 3 homes and clearing for the 3 homes in the drainage?
That's
Or do
something
they
we
just-
ask them.
Yes. Yeah, because that's
Want them to-
disturbance.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so then we have to have the plans for the 3 substandard frontage lots.
Yep, we already have.
They're already here.
They don't need to know anything. Okay, then,
I'm not sure what would be different on a substandard lot that's not already shown here.
okay.
I'm not just,
I don't know, that's what I'm trying to, my thinking is
No, I-
clearing.
I know she's
Do you know what I'm
trying- yeah, I
thinking?
know she's
The
trying to-
disturbance of the land and the
Yeah, but
clearing
that's
of the
actually
homes.
different.
Right,
Should that be
but
taken?
that's already
Yeah.
here on this.
Okay.
Right?
I think
So
that they
that's sufficient.
I think they have
Okay.
everything here to review the common driveway as well as the disturbance of the 3 proposed lots.
Okay, so if I
So if
send,
they, I think if they review this,
okay,
With direction to look at,
okay.
right, with the
So I'll send in these
understanding,
plans.
with the understanding that these are 3 substandard frontage lots, and there's gonna be another public hearing for that.
Okay,
But there's no reason to wait on this part of it, because that's just gonna delay it even
okay, so I'll
further.
get these and get the peer review done. Then, once that's done, he's
Does that
gonna apply for the substandard.
Make sense to you?
Oh, yeah. I'm not too sensitive.
Do you have those on a PDF?
Do you have these plans on the
I don't think I
PDF?
Anderson, can he get them to us?
probably,
Yeah, I'll
you
get
could probably
them.
print them out, or
Well,
PDF
I
them.
just sent them text message here while I'm speaking.
Okay, perfect.
Very efficient.
I am.
That's right.
All right.
Okay, so we're not gonna set a date yet.
We have to
We
set
have
a
to
date.
set
Yes.
Okay, no, so we decided to continue this.
Yes.
Do you think we, what the first meeting in October? Would we be done by then with the
October 11th?
stormwater? Yeah,
We'll be on the stormwater, we wanna be on the substandard lots.
that would be for the substandard.
No.
That would be the special permit. Once we get.
So
I think we should
can-
push this out
Right.
after we approve the substandard frontage lots. I'll push this out.
Hopefully we have
And so should we go beyond?
by the time we're considering the substandard.
Oh, so we're still gonna go for the second week of
So,
September,
he's right.
the
He will need-
substandard lots. Okay, that's all I was asking.
That's
I
assuming we
thought
have
we
the
were
peer
moving
review
on.
done.
Right, that's assuming we get the peer review done.
My thought is we push this out until like October, the continuation of tonight,
Mm-hmm.
to like October.
11, yeah.
Once we know when we can get the peer review back, we schedule the special permit public hearing for the substandard lots. At the same time, we can look at the peer review comments in that meeting. And then we'll have that ready for this.
Okay.
So we can't schedule, I don't want to schedule the first one.
Makes sense.
We'll schedule this for like October,
The continuance of this to what?
13th.
October 11th or 25th. I'm trying to give you, I don't want to rush it. In case the peer review people come back and say, I can't have a CO for 8 weeks.
I get you.
So I'm gonna have to have you come back and open and close a meeting.
Well, the 11th would be 3 months.
I'm like, that.
All right, 2.5. Yeah, that's right, 2.5, 2.5.
I mean, it's August for consultants are
Right.
vacations.
Yeah.
Okay, so the end of October?
I think we go for October 25th. For the continuation of,
October 25th.
To continue this hearing.
It would be 6 p.m.
6:30.
6:30, sorry, 6:30.
anytime.
No, we didn't call it.
No, we said it when he was here.
We said 6.
We said 6.
6.
I know, but we're
Oh,
gonna
we're
say
gonna
6.
change, oh, we'll bring.
That's fine. All right,
Motion,
Oh.
motion.
Motion to continue the hearing until October 25th,
At 6:30 p.m.
6:30 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
No,
Okay,
no.
all right, great.
My dear, now,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
it is a pleasure.
you very much. Thank you for your
Sincere
patience.
to you how I look, but it is.
Actually, if I could say something, thank you very much, everybody, for being respectful in your comments. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Seriously. Thank you for asking questions respectfully and not making our lives difficult. So thank you all.
Yeah, I'll go back with it. Oh, you are very fine. You think about you. Like, you know, always crazy.